Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and so yeah, this got to my feed because obviously, as you all know, WrestleMania sucked. There was nothing good about this year's WrestleMania. All the people that should have won lost, and we had weak endings. I've made my stance on this. I probably won't be watching for a little bit after that bullshit that we had to endure. I don't know if I want to make another video really kind of any in-depth on this because I really am pissed off with the results, and I really am really mad about the way everything went down. But so something was brought to my attention on some Twitter feed from Karrion Kross, and I want to talk about this. I want to show you guys. Say if you haven't seen it, you gotta go check this out. So someone had put it up on YouTube. So so I want to kind of react to this with you guys. So Karrion Kross was not on WrestleMania. He did interfere in the AJ Styles Logan Paul match. He was actually helping Logan Paul from one of Logan Paul's entourage that tried to help Logan Paul win. Karrion Kross basically told him you should hit Logan Paul. And he didn't do it. Because of this, this led to AJ Styles ultimately losing to Logan Paul because of this. But then on the next day, at some point, Killer Kross did some interview, and on some wrestling interview show or whatever. I don't know what it was, but basically he does an interview. Instead of actually doing an interview about his career or, just normal things and whatnot, he just goes off. And I'm going to show you guys this. He goes off on a CM Punk like pipe bomb. And like this should have been done on Raw or SmackDown, but getting the fact that I really feel that this was just Karrion Kross just doing this just because he's mad that he didn't get on WrestleMania, on the WrestleMania card, which I guess was his hometown too. So he's even more pissed off about that. So he goes into this promo, and I'm going to show you guys because this was like the best thing I've seen for this year's WrestleMania, because this year's WrestleMania was horrible. Oh wait, there we go. So here we go. I want you guys to see this right now.
Let's talk about how awesome it is that Logan Paul just won it. Let's talk about, Sam, let's talk about what Logan Paul represents. The shortcut. Feels so good to be here. Feels so good to be in the business. Thinking about all of the funerals that I wasn't able to attend.
Like this, like the way he starts this off, he's right. Look what he's done. Look what he's done as a pro wrestler, and look how Logan Paul took shortcuts.
For the last 11 years in this business, all the holidays I missed, I could have just started a YouTube channel, could have just jumped in there with AJ Styles. Feels really good, right? It's awesome. It's really...
He's right. In pro wrestling, wrestling is really the only sport where you can take shortcuts to become a professional wrestler, essentially. Because wrestling is predetermined, as we all know. So, obviously Vince McMahon started this whole thing with celebrities and stuff like that, but... he's right when he says that we got all these, these YouTubers and all these, these celebrities coming in that are now becoming like part-time wrestlers, which is Logan Paul is. He's a part-time wrestler. He doesn't wrestle at every Raw or SmackDown. Yeah, he'll sometimes make appearances here and there, but he's not there all the time. He's right. Karrion Kross is right when he says this.
Good.
Do you guys
and
know
they
we
get
have
a spot
25 years
before he
combined
does.
experience, and what are we doing on Mania?
Well, they know because they're normal human beings, and they actually love professional wrestling. But apparently, that doesn't mean shit anymore. That doesn't mean.
I also like this too. He doesn't even give the chance the interviewer to like respond to this. He's just like, of course they know because they actually love professional wrestling and they actually give a shit about this. He says professional wrestling, not sports entertainment.
Shit. All I asked Alan to do was for once to not think about just himself. Think about everybody in the back and think about the professional wrestling fans. That's all I wanted him to do. Sometimes.
After this promo, like, I don't know where this is going to go to. I don't know if this is just Karrion Kross just doing his thing or if this is actually something that Triple H had him do in this interview because they knew they were going to have, he knew he was going to interview. I don't know what the plan was here. Like, I don't know if this is like a legitimate work or this is actual shoot. Because they're obviously very good in doing this. You know, when people say kayfabe is dead, people don't really understand that kayfabe will always be alive in some form or fashion because you never know what they're doing in the back. You never know what they're talking about, what they're planning. You know, you can go by journalists and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you don't know what they're actually doing in the back. You have no idea. But I do think this was a shoot just because, you know, typically when they do these type of interviews, they like are all usually now when they do interviews, they talk about their life story and how they get somewhere, which I hate, by the way, when they do all that shit now, because it does kind of diminish kayfabe. But here you could tell that this is a wrestling promo in an interview, but he is doing like real life of how the business should be. And this is why I really love this promo. And when I watched this, because I already have seen the whole promo, but I'm just kind of breaking this down. I really like what Karrion Kross is doing here. You know, he sees that, you know, why am I not on the card? Why is this guy on the card? Why, you know, he hasn't done anything to prove that he deserves to be here other than just be a viral, you know, guy, a part-time boxer or whatever, and a YouTube guy. But he hasn't busted his ass off. He hasn't, you know, gone through town to town for like 11 years, missing holidays, missing birthdays, all that stuff. He hasn't done that like I have. He hasn't done that. Why is he on there and I'm not?
To do the right thing, you have to do the wrong thing. But he's a narcissist. And
he's also right now talking about AJ Styles, by the way, too. But this is another thing, too, because AJ Styles was the babyface in that storyline. After this promo, I don't know how you have Karrion Kross be a heel. Like WWE should use this. Like, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if this was a shoot or work. Since Triple H has kind of, you know, tried to improvise with the modern day, you know, like with the Kevin Owens heel turn he did with Cody Rhodes after the show was over. So maybe this was a work, but this right here, after this happened, like, I don't know how you not make Karrion Kross a babyface. Like, after this promo, like, you have to make Karrion Kross a babyface after this. Like, you have to capitalize on this. Like, this was amazing. Like, this is amazing right here.
Had to do it his way. Hey, Alan, how many more WrestleManias do you have in your system? Probably, I don't know, one. Maybe this is the last one, and you just pissed that away. For what? For what? For your way? Thanks a lot, bud. I really appreciate it. You want to know what the best advice I ever got? It was from Bill Goldberg. 2021.
Now, this was really interesting. Now, for anybody who doesn't remember, Karrion Kross is talking about his first run in WWE, which didn't work very well because Vince McMahon was still in control and didn't know what the hell to do with him. He basically made him a Shredder type character from Ninja Turtles, or he made him look like that. And he didn't look like the way he looked like in NXT, and people have talked about this. Of course, he basically didn't really do anything, and eventually was, you know, fired, as we all know. He eventually would get rehired by Triple H once Triple H took over. We did see him do a little bit of stuff in the beginning, but then ultimately was kind of lost in the shuffle.
Back when I was in the Twilight Zone, you know what I mean? I'm wrestling for gasoline. It was awesome. Let me tell you all about it. Bill goes, hey, Kross, you know what? You remind me a lot of me. I go, I think we have different styles, Bill, but I really...
Now, I don't know, like, if this, I'm assuming this was really said. It had to have been. But I'm not sure at this part, like, I guess he's just trying to say that, Goldberg's another part-timer, which he is. But, and that breakdown right there is like, we have different styles, I don't know what the contents of, what he meant with Goldberg. I don't know if he's trying to knock at Goldberg or he's just trying to say that basically because, he obviously wasn't that great of a wrestler in terms of wrestling quality. Goldberg was a draw, though. But I think what he's trying to say here is that, I was, a trooper just like Goldberg said, and even then that still got me fired, basically. So I don't think he's personally knocking.
Do you have any advice for me? He goes, you know what? You just got to be a good soldier. A good soldier is what he said. So I decided to be a good soldier. You know what happened? They released me. And then I come back. You know what being a good soldier gets you, everybody here? Just so in case you're wondering, you want the back scoop here. Being a good soldier gets your times cut. Being a good soldier means that people come up to you and say, hey, you got any great ideas? Yeah, here it is from Scarlet. No. That's a little too great. We're looking just for good ideas. That's for those guys over there. That's what being a good soldier is, okay? Being a good soldier is coming to your hometown where you cut your teeth when you got started and not being on the card. It's all about viral moments now. That's what it's all about, viral moments.
He's right.
Well, guy, everybody's been telling me that I got to become undeniable. And as soon as it happens, they ignore it and they shut it down. I never asked to wrestle Randy. I never asked. That happened organically, and you ignored it for a viral moment. And
now, here he's talking about Randy Orton's open challenge. He doesn't say that he never asked for it, but the fans wanted it. I'm assuming he's talking about the crowd wanting him to face him, because a lot of the rumors, wrestling rumors, was Rusev or Aleister Black or Nick Aldis. But Karrion Kross would have made sense too, because he's actually on the roster. So that absolutely makes sense. That, it's like, hey, why couldn't I get this, against Randy Orton, when he needed an opponent?
Good on Joe. Nothing against him.
Nothing against Joe Hendrick, yes.
But you ignored it. And the crowd told you exactly how they felt about me on SmackDown.
Also, I didn't really talk about this, but I will say the one thing. The whole Joe Hendrick match, as good as a moment that was for him, he should have put the TNA title up for grabs. Because to me, if Randy Orton had won that TNA World title from Joe Hendry, that would have done a lot for TNA. Like the first WrestleMania where the TNA World Champion is on the card, and then also the first TNA World Champion title defense, and he loses it to Randy Orton, and you see Randy Orton show up on TNA television with that TNA World title. Do you know how much ratings TNA would have gotten if they had Randy Orton as the TNA World Heavyweight Champion? Like, and, since TNA and WWE are in like a partnership, I mean, I guess TNA's world title would technically count as a world champion, right? So that means he would have a world he would have another world champion. He would be a 15-time world champion then, because isn't Randy like 14? So Randy Orton would be a 15-time world champion if he had won the TNA World Champion, because technically I think WWE now acknowledges TNA's world champion, right? A world title. So to me, that was a missed opportunity right there. Like, even Pat McAfee alluded to that on the commentary team. Is like, isn't this going to be for the title then? And Michael Cole had to tell him no. But like, to me, that would have made more sense. If you're going to have Joe Hendry be the person that faces Randy Orton, you should have had him put the title up for grabs. Joe Hendry should have been like, hey, I'm putting the title on the line right now against you. Randy Orton beats him for the title, and Randy Orton then goes to TNA. Like, makes a couple appearances at TNA, on one of TNA's pay-per-views. Do you know how many ticket sales they probably would have gotten if they had Randy Orton as the TNA World Champion on one of their pay-per-views? To me, that would have made more sense. So that was a big missed opportunity. That's all I'm going to say about that, though. But, yeah.
SmackDown when I was eliminated, and you ignored it. Become undeniable. My ass. my ass. You want a viral moment? On behalf of all of the true fans of professional wrestling, guy with the suit and tie in the truck, go fuck yourself. That's from Killer Kross. No. Fuck it.
So. Oh, wait. What just happened? Okay. It totally shut down my browser on that. On that note, it shut down my browser. But no, that was the ending of it. Luckily that was the ending part of it. But yeah, that was such a great ending too, to basically say, hey, on behalf of the professional wrestling fans, this is what I think, you know. Like, he's a babyface now. As far as I'm concerned, he is a babyface now. Like, you can't bring him as a heel.
Let's talk about how,
you know, and they called him Killer Kross, by the way. Now, that's kind of interesting that he's using the Killer Kross. Well, I don't know if he's gonna like use it on WWE television, but the reason why he couldn't use Killer Kross on WWE television is because they didn't want his ring name to have Killer in it. So. Well, no, you can have the slogan, because Randy Orton's the Legend Killer, but that's not his ring name, so they have to say it all the time. You know, that's why I think they don't want him using the Killer name in his ring name. But I mean, like, after saying that, like he's a babyface now. Like, he's probably gonna work with AJ Styles. Because of, you know, him not listening to him. But, man, I would love to see Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, freaking facing Logan Paul, you know, and take his ass down. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to go after AJ Styles. But, man, like, I don't know if I can root for AJ Styles after that. Like, I got to root for Killer Kross, man. Killer Kross is representing the pro wrestling fans there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a babyface promo right there. Like he is speaking to the professional wrestling fans that are sick of all this bullshit, these part-time freaking viral guys that are coming in that, you know, haven't really done anything, haven't really sweat and tears. That's what he's doing. You know, he's speaking to those fans. Like, I really hope, if this was a shoot, I really hope Triple H capitalizes on it. If it's a work, then Triple H was brilliant at this. You know, letting, you know, Karrion Kross do his thing in this. This was amazing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Comment right if you like the video, my videos. Subscribe, hit the notification bell for this content. Thank you. And like I said, I really like this. I hope they do something with Killer Kross, Karrion Kross. Yeah, I like it. I'm out. That's Ultimate Goku out. Peace.